If you want to write good ads, you have to master copywriting. And in this video, we're going to break down 4 of my favorite and advanced copywriting tactics that you can use today, not only in your ads, but in your short form content, your funnels, in any piece of marketing material that you will write. So let's not waste any time. Number 1, leveraging identity. What I do not see people do enough is leverage the identity of their buyer. What does this mean in practice? All that your identity is who you are. The traits that you ascribe to, the behaviors that you ascribe to you, the way you dress, the way you act, who you want to be like. So for example, number 1 thing I see people don't talk about enough. People that are extremely political, the reason being is because they have tied their identity to the outcome of the political group, whether that's Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, I don't give a shit what it is. The reason that they are so passionate about these things is because their identity is tied up in that thing. Whereas the people that don't get so butthurt about political debates typically don't have their identity tied to it. It's just what they ascribe to in that moment. Think about how powerful that is. If you can have the same type of identity or leverage identity in the same way that MAGA does, you can get people to raid the Capitol if you use this effectively. Don't do that. Not saying that that's something I'm promoting at all. That was, in fact, one of the craziest things I've ever seen in the entire country. But the only reason that happened is because they understood how to leverage identity. So what does this mean for you as the copywriter, the marketer, or the business owner? What you need to be doing in all of your marketing material is identifying their current state and taking them to their future state and show how this occurs, how they go from current to future, and what that change in identity looks like or needs to look like. A great example of this, more so on a sales conversation, but if you can get somebody to ascribe to a certain identity, I can now leverage it later in the call. Well, earlier, didn't you say you wanted this? And now, again, because they want to ascribe to this identity or they already have, now that is leverage. Same thing with ads. So one of my favorite ways to use this is in a hook, in the opener of an ad. One of the most common things we don't see people use enough are justifying your buyer's current behavior, their current identity. If you put on 30 pounds in the past 2 years because your family is just getting big, a lot of young kids, you're struggling to do this, you're struggling to do that, you just feel like you don't have the time, you're totally right in thinking that. I mean, parents all the time are swallowed between kids' practices, work, being present in the home, showing up for their spouse. Of course that's justified. What the fuck are we talking about? And then I bridge into the ad. But notice what that does. I'm not saying just, hey, you don't have enough time and it's because you're not doing this, so here's how we solve it. No, that just pisses people off. They go, why are you coming at me? Why are you challenging me? And it's what a lot of people do. A great example of this as well is when people say you're this, you're that. Your business isn't growing because you don't know how to do this. Fuck you, dude. Yeah, I do. You get what I'm saying? It puts a guard up. Whereas if I say, look, your business isn't growing, not because you don't already know these things. It all makes sense to you. You're just missing this one piece, and I see it all the time. Again, I have validated your existing identity and set of beliefs before I bridge into the next part of the ad. And then what I'm doing is I'm building the gap. My entire goal with an identity is to build the gap. The gap is built off the identity. The identity dictates your current reality. The reality of a business owner stuck at 100, 200, 300 grand a month is very different from the business owner that gets pissed off when they're only at 100, 200, 300 grand a month. The actions in both positions are the same, yet the identity tied to the outcome is very different. And so that is a concept that I really want you to understand here is how can I leverage identity in my copy? How can I leverage it in my sales process? What is the identity of my buyers before? What is the identity of my buyers after? What is the identity that they want? And then weave this into your marketing material. Now, obviously, there's a lot more nuance to this. So if you are curious, you can book a call below, speak to myself, or member of the team. But mastering this and not calling people out and using more of an indirect approach where you justify their current set of beliefs. If your business is stuck at 100 grand a month and you've tried running ads in the past, but it doesn't work, of course it's not working. You hired shitty agencies and you know it now. You know, everybody's got to make a mistake. You tried to learn it on your own. So you spent 10 grand and you didn't have the right information in front of you. And now you're sitting here watching YouTube videos like this, trying to figure out how to write good copy, trying to figure out how to run good ads at scale. You're totally right in being annoyed at your current situation, being frustrated that you've been stuck at 100 grand a month, having to dance on camera. I hear you. I do. And that's why I make these videos. So you don't need to pay somebody to run good ads. But if you want to, link below. If I have my ICP in front of me, I'm speaking directly to you. But do you see what that does? Because you've probably been burnt by an agency before. And you're not an idiot for paying for it because they probably had a pretty good sales process on the front end or they sold some outlandish fucking claim. But again, I've justified that. Therefore, everything I say after now makes a lot more sense to you. So that's the first part, is understanding how to leverage identity. And remember, bit of a crazy analogy, but if Donald Trump can get people to raid the fucking Capitol because their identity is tied to that belief system, you can get anybody to do just about anything if you understand this concept of identity. So that is the first part. Now, the second part to this, I don't see people talk about enough, but it is a fundamental principle of copy. And it's something called the slippery slope. Now, I probably should have looked up who made this because I don't take credit for this. This is like a core copywriting principle. But what is the slippery slope? All that this is each line of text needs to sell the next line. That's it. Each slide of text needs to create some curiosity that gets the individual to go to the next line. That is it. This can be across multiple lines. This can be across 1 to 2 lines. But what you're doing is you are opening micro loops in people's minds to get them to read the next. Great way to visualize this or think about this is anytime you've read a really good book. We've all had this happen at least once in our lives, where we read a really good book and all of a sudden we pick our head up and 4 hours has gone by. We didn't even realize that. Versus you read a book where you are fighting to get through it, where it's like, this just sucks. I hate this so much. The only difference in the two books is one mastered this concept of the slippery slope and the other did not. Your job as a copywriter is to sell the next line and to sell the story. And each one is supposed to spark curiosity to get you to continue consuming. That is it. That is legitimately it. It's not a complicated topic, yet people don't talk about it. So make sure when you are writing your copy that you're really thinking about what is the importance of each line that I'm writing and how does it sell the next. This is very important, especially in long form. Writing a VSL, writing an ad, writing an email, writing a sales page. Your copy needs to sell the next line and the next line and the next line. Very simple concept, but I didn't see people talking about it enough, so I wanted to bring that into this video as well. Now, number 3, this one's massive. Very meta concept. I brought it up on a sales stand-up today when one of the offers were on, and it was funny to watch everybody go, oh, holy shit, you're right. Because we were crafting up this like SMS blast to send out, and some of the words said, we built this. And I said, no. That's inherently selfish. You gave no reason for building it. You just said, we built it. If you want it, take it. Because I'm trying to make more money. What this explains is something that we call the selfish frame. We want to avoid this at all costs. The selfish frame, in theory, is just the used car salesman. His greasy ass mustache, his shitty little smile. I'm gonna do my best to do a slick back, but his slicked back hair. All the selfish frame is you coming across as the greasy used car salesman. It's not me, it's you. Then it brings me to the next topic a little bit, but I won't touch a ton right now. Is one of the most interesting things with short form content is every word you say matters. Every single word that you say matters. 10 times more than paid ads. Paid ads, you gotta get the words right, but the value of each word is a less than with short form content because I can force distribution. If I want to naturally get reach, I have to value my words more. I have to. And so as I moved through this exercise and I thought about what this looked like in practice, again, I'll get to the concept here in a second. One of the biggest problems I saw was on the hooks. So very lazy or newer creators will say things like, pay attention, listen up, stay till the end, and then nothing. So they'll say something like, if you're this person and you want this result, stay till the end. Make sure you stay till the end. And then there's no explanation as to why. That inherently is a selfish frame. Why? Because I have not said why you should. I have not given you a reason. There is no benefit to you when you consume those words. And this is where so many copywriters fuck up, is they are inherently selfish. They go into writing their copy thinking, oh, I'm gonna sell you, therefore I'm gonna use a selfish fucking frame. Do they do that intentionally? No, but that's what happens. You cannot be selfish. Every single word is designed to benefit the other person. Every single thing I talk about in this video is made to help you make more money with paid ads. And then I'll drop a slight CTA in there, but it's always tied to a problem. There's always a solution I can offer. You need to get out of the selfish frame. Great way to audit what you're currently doing. If you say I, anytime you say I, you are inherently selfish in 99% of cases. Now, if you say how I did this, I'm going to share you exactly how I did so that you can achieve this. That's different. But anytime you say I built this thing, I made sure that we did this, that comes off as inherently selfish. Get fucked. Get fucked if you think selfish copy is going to convert. Now, obviously it does because we're in the advanced side of copywriting. But you must avoid selfish copy. Audit every single word that you write to make sure that it benefits the other fucking person. The number one frame you can have is not that you're selling anybody, but that you're trying to help them as much as humanly possible. Your copy is designed to attract and help. It is not designed to sell. Change that frame, because anytime you think, I'm writing words to sell, you are burning your fucking money. So again, that one drives me a little bit nuts, but hopefully that helps in some way. Now, the last one, and I alluded to this very briefly, is a concept that I like to call word concision. Now, word concision is arguably my favorite thing I've learned since getting more into the short form specifically. Long form's a little different. I don't really prioritize this as a reach platform or whatever, but word concision specifically with short form content is super important. And once you understand it, it really forces you to get better at copy across every single thing that you're writing. So what does it mean? Word concision means every single word that comes out of your mouth needs to serve a fucking purpose. Even with what I just said, the fact that I just swore, that word is designed to emphasize the point. You must be tight in your language. One of my favorite examples of this is using short form content. So when you see somebody post, right, let's say it's just a talking head, you'll have a person in a video just like this. Where most people go wrong is they will say, in the next 60 seconds, I'll show you exactly how to achieve X, Y, and Z. And although I encourage you to split test this, the best way to describe word concision is, do I need to put the time as a verbal thing? Or can I just write it in the on-screen text? Can I just say how to this in XYZ time so that you achieve this? And then I can open up with a different hook. If you've been dealing with XYZ problem, and now I can articulate the problem immediately while also showing the time with which they get the result. So in half a second, not even, they now are getting hit with value. They know exactly what they want. Retention is up. That is what word concision is. It's also learning to prune words. So a great exercise is, if I'm making a point in 3 sentences, is there a way to prune it to 1? If I make a concept in 3 words, is there a way to bring it down to 1 word? Again, another great example. I love using short form because it's a great way to just describe this. Example A, shouldn't have said just there. Filler word, wasn't needed. Short form though. Someone can open up a piece of short form content and say, today I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. Or I can just say how to. I don't need to know that it's today. I don't need to know that you're going to show me. I don't need to know any of that shit. I just need to know how to. That is all word concision is how tight can I be with my language? That's it. It really is that simple. And so I hesitated on putting this video out because it really is that powerful. A lot of these topics are that powerful of copywriting tactics. The one thing I'll preface before I end this video is you have got to speak to the right person. I can know every single copywriting tactic in the world, but if I do not speak to my buyers, I can go fuck myself. It does not serve anybody. I won't attract who I want. Therefore, nothing I understand and am implementing will work. So make sure you're speaking to the right type of person. If you get that right, copywriting, all of this other stuff is to squeeze margin, to improve efficiency. It's like the ads manager. I explain this concept all the time. You got to speak to the right person. You got to make ads that speak to your individual person before you start worrying about formats, campaign structures, all that fancy stuff. Let's get the fundamentals right first, because if that's wrong, none of the marginal little shit is going to even matter. Now it matters, again, as you go to scale, it has a huge impact. But in the beginning, you just got to get it right. So make sure you're speaking to the right type of person and then give it a shot implementing some of these things, like leveraging identity, slippery slope, the unselfish frame, and what I like to call word concision. So hope that helped, guys. If you want to see more content like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below what you want to see next. Talk to you in the next one.